What was your biggest takeaway watching that game?
Best team won. You saw it. I mean, look, Notre Dame put together a great drive, and this is what they needed to do. They needed to take 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes off the clock, limit the possessions that the Buckeyes were going to have. That was the only chance they was going to have. Ohio State has too many racehorses for Notre Dame to win a race with them, and you saw it on full display last night. Give Notre Dame credit for making it a one-score game late in the ball game, but Ohio State just had too many weapons, and that's what Stephen A. and I was talking about. When you look at the weapons that they have, how in the heck did they lose to Michigan? And if this was not the outcome, there should have been answers. There should have been questions about Ryan Day's job security. They clearly had the best team. You look at the wide receivers, you look at the running back, you look at their defense from top to bottom. Yes, this was the outcome that should have been expected. And I don't think anybody's surprised, maybe other than the Notre Dame fans. And I know they got all excited to have a 17, 18-play drive to start the game. They took 10 minutes off the clock and they get a touchdown. But you see, once Ohio State got the ball back and it was 14-7 and 21-7, once the game got 14-7, I knew it was over for the Irish.
Well, we said it from day one, Shay. If you remember yesterday, we talked about Notre Dame's lone chance was to be the more physical team and really to pound them into the ground. Your defense was going to have to make certain stops. There was no doubt about that. But in the same breath, you're going to have to run the football and run it effectively. So they got an 18-play drive to open up the game. But you kind of knew they were done then. You know why? Because your quarterback, Riley Leonard, went on the sideline and threw up. Okay, he was exhausted. He threw up, I think, if I remember correctly. I mean, he was absolutely exhausted. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, him throwing up on the sidelines or whatever, you scored 31 points unanswered at that particular moment in time. You know Jeremiah Smith was going to get loose. He got loose late on a go route after y'all had made it interesting and you needed to stop, and ultimately you couldn't stop him. The better team won. They had more horses. They had too many weapons. There would have been no excuse whatsoever for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win this game. If Ohio State had lost this game, it would have been because they got punked by Notre Dame. It would have been because Notre Dame was the more physical team, and they went out there and knew it and knew that was their lone chance of winning, and that's what they did. Ohio State, being as gifted as they are, went and answered the call, and they made sure they showed there was levels to this, as good as Notre Dame was and has been this year. They're not on our level. That's what Ohio State went out and did, and now we've got back-to-back Big Ten champions, as Big Ten national champions, by the way, beating SEC teams to get through that. So that's a different story for another day when we talk about the best conference in all of college football. But clearly the better team was Ohio State, and we knew this coming in. We were just praying that it wasn't going to be a blowout. And the only thing we have Notre Dame to thank for is the fact that as the game waned, when everybody was about to turn their television sets or walk out the stadium, they made it interesting. That's about it.
Dan?
Well, I'm an emotional, sentimental person. My biggest takeaway is football is the best team sport on the planet. And moms and dads, let your sons play it. Because I think, like you saw from both teams, the transfer of like why the game matters so much and why it has such a lateral to like life. Ryan Day, they lose to Michigan, the world's ending, and he said it, just keep going. Don't quit. Like, just keep swinging. Don't quit. We saw it from Notre Dame in the game, going down 31-7 to Stephen A's point. Oh, my gosh, everyone going to turn the TV off. Just keep going and don't quit. And I think the game of football teaches a lot of us who have played it that, and moms and dads, let your sons play football. The second takeaway is this. I think that goes down as one of the all-time clutch throws and catches in Ohio State history. I mean, that is a huge moment in that situation to have Will Howard, the transfer quarterback that came from a smaller school, in that moment versus Notre Dame, and they all out-blitz him, and he throws it to a freshman to secure the national championship, the guts to make that call by Chip Kelly, the throw by Will Howard, the catch. I was shocked that Notre Dame singled him up. I was floored that they actually played that coverage. We're all texting Ryan Clark, whose son, Jordan Clark, played so well last night. Like, the ball's going to number 4. And so I think that you walk away from that game going, that play is going to go down in infamy in Ohio State history. And the fact that they threw it to a freshman shows you how remarkable that young man is. I said this a while ago. He will be the number 1 pick in the draft. If he could this year come out, he would also be the number 1 pick in this year's draft.
But D.O., he's a freshman, but he's the best player on the field.
Yes. He's the best player and the best wide receiver in the nation, Shannon. That's why I'm looking at Dio and I'm going like this. No wonder I see you in so many commercials. I mean, you talk about a feel-good guy. That is who you are, Dio. For all the advertisers and sponsors out there, if you're looking for somebody to promote your product, call Dan Orlovsky. He's the perfect guy for you. I mean, this dude, he looked like he'll cry over anything for crying out loud. Mr. Sentimental. Jeremiah Smith, the best wide receiver in football. You said that he would be the first player to, oh my goodness, one of the clutch throws. How gutsy.
I can't believe they threw it to him. Oh my goodness. What were they thinking? Throwing to the best guy on the field. Oh my God. Stephen A. What are you saying?
Exactly, Shannon. Exactly, Shannon. What the hell is Dan Orlovsky talking about?
You still got to go. You guys still got to go make the throw and to catch it. So we're going to say it's not
how hard.
But you said you were surprised that they threw it to the freshman who happened to be the best player on the field. You keep saying he's going to be the first player taken. Why wouldn't they throw it to him?
No, Shannon. I'm not surprised they threw it to him. I'm shocked Notre Dame played him one-on-one. That's what I said. I'm surprised that Notre Dame played him one-on-one.
You said you were shocked they threw it to him, though.
We were all telling Ryan
what you meant, but what you said was you were shocked they threw it to him.
No. Then I misrepresented.
That's what you said.
I was shocked that Notre Dame played him one-on-one.
Is Ryan Day owed an apology?
No.
What?
Think about it. If this was the old system, the 4-team system, are we sure that Ryan Day makes the playoffs with 2 losses? There's a possibility. The mere fact that he lost to Michigan with this team at home and you're 19-point favorites. What do you mean? Oh, no, apology for what? He did what he was supposed to do. He has a roster that cost allegedly $20 million. So now we got to apologize for a guy for winning when he was supposed to win. What am I missing?
Stephen A.
Let me tell you what you're missing, Shannon. I'm going to tell you exactly what you're missing. These damn fools out there that's trying to backtrack and trying to get us to change our original thoughts about Ryan Day. Now, let me say this. To show you how bold I am, Molly, Dio, Shannon, I had the absolute wonderful pleasure of meeting Ryan Day's son last night when I was on the sideline. Really, really nice kid. He really was. It was a pleasure to meet him, okay? And he was very nice, couldn't have been sweeter. Why do I bring this up? Because there were other people in the vicinity reminding me of what we had said about Ryan Day prior to these college football playoffs beginning. And put Dan and Shay up on the screen when I'm talking about this subject, please. Let me be very clear and echo to y'all what I said on the sideline last night to anybody who asked me that question. You damn right I said if Ryan Day had gone out there and lost to Tennessee in the college football playoffs, he should have been gone. I said it. I meant it. I wasn't stuttering. And as he sits here as a national champion today, deserving all the praise that everybody has been showering upon him all morning long, that doesn't change the predicament he was in when these playoffs began. When these playoffs began, Michigan had beaten Ryan Day the last 4 straight times. Jim Harbaugh 3, and then you had Sharon Moore who did it this year. And then you go into the play. You ain't won no national championship since 2014. The days of Tressel and Urban Meyer and those boys are long gone. You ain't win no national title. You hadn't won a Big Ten since 2020. You hadn't won a Big Ten title. And on top of it all, you lost to Michigan 4 straight times. You don't take a job at The Ohio State and lose under those circumstances. And then you would have lost to Tennessee to start off the college football 12-team playoff. You damn right we said, had he lost that game, he should have been gone. And it was nice seeing Kirk Herbstreit yesterday in the booth, being emotional and all of that, because that's a friend and he's obviously very closely connected to the program. I get all of that. And it's great to see Ryan Day, who's a great coach, validating his greatness the way that he did with this run. But it doesn't change the circumstances he created by losing to Michigan so much, by not winning a conference championship and having a $20 million NIL roster with 11 NFL caliber players returning to your squad this year, the predicament that he was in, losing to Michigan, who was 5-5 at the time, come on now, we were justified in saying what we said then, just like we stand here today and are justified in saying he doesn't deserve that now because he finally answered the call for the first time in his career. Period. No stuttering.
Listen, I agree with both y'all. I don't think he's owed an apology because Ryan Day's not soft. Okay, now there are people who cross lines when they bring in their families, and you hear the stories about certain parts of fan bases going after his family and his kids and whatnot in social media, and that's terrible, and it's never not going to be terrible, and it's probably never going to go away. But Ryan Day's not soft because he never let the noise affect him. And that's why he's not owed an apology. I think most of the time, these coaches know what they sign up for when they take these jobs. Like Ryan Day's not naive to what he knows, to knowing what he steps into when he becomes the head coach of Ohio State. There's good and there's bad. Stephen A., Shannon, Mal, you know this. We accept these jobs. We know that there are things that come along with the jobs that we willingly accept that are going to not be fun to go through. Ryan Day knows that. He knows when he loses big games or loses to Michigan, he's going to get criticized for it. So I don't think he's expecting an apology either. But I will give him the credit that he didn't let it change him. He didn't let it buckle him. He didn't let it impact him. And to his words, he just kept going.
Disagree with that.
And here's the thing, to Shannon's point, this was the team that was expected to win it all. This was the team that most people back in August selected to win the national championship. That sets expectations. When it seemed at times when those expectations weren't getting met, the noise got really loud. That's part of the job.
By the way, I disagree with you. I think it did change him. I think losing to Michigan changed it. I think if they had beaten Michigan, I think that had they beaten Michigan, they might not have won the national championship. Under Ryan Day, despite a 70-10 record, as the head coach at Ohio State, okay, like I said, 4 straight losses to Michigan, having not won a Big Ten title since 2020. Oh, by the way, the Cotton Bowl last year, the Peach Bowl the year before that, those bowl games. He lost those games, okay? This man was not closing the deal. As great as he is, he wasn't closing the deal. And what bothers me, it's an insult when folks, every job is different. I was sitting in a suite, had a whole bunch of Ohio State fans right next to me. All of them were like this. Yeah, you were right, man. Had he lost to Tennessee, he'd have been gone. He'd have been gone. We had to get him up out of here. You see, that's how they felt about it. They got to a point where it's like, yo, this is the Ohio State. This ain't somebody else. We have expectations. We expect you to meet them. And the reality is, until a few weeks ago, Ryan Day had not met those expectations.
Yep.
Period.
Now he
it's
finished
just the
the
truth.
job. Yep, he finished the job.
And now he
Ryan Day
has.
is the youngest head coach to win a national championship since Urban Meyer did it in 2008 with Florida, obviously, those Tim Tebow teams.
Congratulations.